Hi everyone, my name is Emily Van Beveren and this is my MSA lesson. The grade that I was assigned for this lesson is grade 7. So the two content standards for this lesson are: understand that the probability of a chance event is a number between 0 and 1 that express the likelihood of the event occurring. Larger numbers indicate greater likelihood. A probability near 0 indicates an unlikely event. A probability around 1/2 indicates an event that is neither unlikely nor likely, and a probability near 1 indicates a likely event. The second standard that I felt went hand in hand with this one was develop a uniform probability model by assessing equal probability to all outcomes. Use the model to determine probabilities of events. For example, if a student is selected at random from a class, find the probability that Jane will be selected and the probability that a girl will be selected. The math practice standards that we'll be also focusing on in this lesson is make sense of problems and persevere in solving them, use appropriate tools strategically, and to construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. The objectives for this lesson are: the students will be able to understand that the probability of an event occurring is between 0 and 1. Students will be able to show their understanding that a probability close to 0 means that the event is unlikely, and if it is close to 1, it is likely. And students will be able to accurately construct an argument whether or not an event is likely to occur and why. These are objectives that the students will be able to do by the end of the lesson. So for the motivational ideas, as these students are in 7th grade, I thought that talking about sports and the probabilities for different games would engage the students. So the teacher could ask questions like, what sports do you guys like? And have you ever seen the odds for a football game? And then they could show them images of probabilities of different teams winning games. Based on their answer to the questions like, what sports do you guys like, you could find the probabilities of one tennis star winning over the other, etc. So now we are moving on to modeling. The teacher will model how to complete a probability problem for the students. That problem will be: Charlie is going to roll a dice and flip a coin. What is the probability that he will roll a 6 and the coin will land with heads facing up? The teacher will model this strategy, as you can see right there, on how to create a chart to solve a probability problem. This will help students learn and see a strategy, model, and tool that they can apply to future probability questions that will help them succeed and meet the objectives of this lesson. For the story question for this lesson, the question is: Victor is waiting his turn to spin the prize wheel below. Each of the 6 sectors of the prize wheel are equal sizes. If Victor lands on 6, orange, he wins $1,000. If Victor lands on another sector, he receives nothing. If Victor has 2 chances to spin the prize wheel, what is the probability he will win $1,000 cash prize? Is it a likely or an unlikely event? Now, for this part, it is important that they do the computation, but they also create a compelling argument to answer that last question so that they can use their work to showcase how they can make a compelling argument for their answers. Moving on to strategies for computation for that last slide, the story question. Students can create a chart like seen in the modeling portion, where it's the 2 different charts showing the different outcomes, or they can compute the answer like this. As you can see, this is a great strategy as well as the other one, an appropriate tool for students to use to solve probability questions. After they have all worked on the story problem, they will all write down their sentence stating whether it is likely or an unlikely scenario. This probability shows us it's a little less than half, so the students can say that it is either not likely to occur or it is not likely or likely to occur. It's a neutral situation. Moving on, to application. These skills will help students far beyond this lesson and can be applied to future schooling and their careers. They are applying their new knowledge of probabilities to solving the questions provided on this worksheet. Students will get this worksheet and work in pairs to complete this worksheet. It is practice of the new skills that we just learned in the story question and the modeling. After completion, the students will share their work and explain their answers in front of the class. This allows them to further work on not only the computation skills that were just learned, but also on how to make a compelling argument and disagree or agree with others' work and be able to back that up with their own proof. Next, for the assessment and the exit ticket, will just be this one question. Kelly spun a spinner, which is pictured below, 35 times. She recorded her results in the table provided. What is the theoretical probability of the spinner landing on the orange section? Is this likely or unlikely to occur? As you can see, the correct answer is 1/3, and then students will write their sentence, but for their exit ticket, they will just see the question and the infographics provided so that they can fill that out and then give it to the teacher as they walk out the door. The teacher then can look over all of the students' exit tickets to see that students understood the new content and were able to grasp the ideas of the standards. Lastly is my citations and resources slides. A lot of these resources here are really great, and they have different links to different practice questions of probabilities and all this great stuff. So I really appreciate you guys listening to my presentation, and I look forward to seeing yours.